Welcome to the Dwig America podcast. And now your host, Todd Dwiggins.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you're listening, welcome to the Dwig America podcast. I'm your host, Todd Dwiggins, coming to you from the Dwig America studios in lovely Central Texas. It's a beautiful, sunny 65-degree day here in January. Wearing short sleeves outside and coming from Indiana, Wisconsin, loving it. So on today's podcast, I'll be talking a little politics. Even in this case, I don't really consider it politics, but we'll get into that in a moment. Also, things a newbie to the Army life thinks are odd, and a little blast from the past, and a little bit about me giving driving lessons. All right, so let's get started. So as far as politics goes, I'm originally from Kokomo, Indiana, and I saw on Facebook that a gentleman I went to high school with back in the day is now running for mayor of Kokomo. And I'll be honest, I didn't even look to see what party he is running for, because one, it's just mayor of a small town, relatively small town. Anyway, because I don't care what party he's running for. I'll investigate later just out of curiosity. But I'm telling you, if you live in Kokomo, Indiana, vote Tyler Moore for mayor. Because I'll tell you one thing, I don't know anything else about him, but he was a good guy in high school. He still seems like he's a good guy. Everyone I've talked to says, good guy, honest, integrity, just a solid guy, honest guy, and I don't care about anything else. Those are the kinds of people we need in government, honest men and women of integrity. So, vote Tyler Moore for mayor of Kokomo. That's my plug. That's about as political as you'll ever see me get. All right, that's all I have. That's it. That's politics. So, things a newbie to Army life thinks are odd. Well, the other day, I was driving on the post here, and it was about 5 o'clock. I was taking my kids to, they have a kind of an arts and crafts thing for kids, and actually adults too. They sell plaques. It's actually, I wouldn't even call it an arts and crafts center. It's really nice. But anyway, driving there with my kids around 5 o'clock. And all of a sudden I hear music playing in the background, and I'm a little confused, like what that is. And all of a sudden, all these cars on a main road pull over and stop. And people start getting out of the car and saluting. It's retreat. They're taking the flag down. And so 5 o'clock, or some days it's 4, some days it's 3. But anyway, that day it was a 5 o'clock. They start doing it. Everyone stops their cars, gets out, if you're in uniform, and salutes towards the flag. And you wait till they're done. They get in their car, and everyone drives off. And I was like, okay, that's different. That's not something I'm used to seeing every day growing up in the Midwest. Not something I was ever exposed to. I suppose if you served in the military, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, something like that, maybe that's something that's not unusual to you, but to me it was like, well, that's something you don't see every day. So I just thought, I'll throw that out there for today. Just a little fun fact. Maybe if you don't have any military experience or ever been in that situation, maybe it'd be of interest to you. Okay, moving on from that. So for Christmas, my wife got me a cassette recorder that I could plug into my computer and record cassettes. And I have tons and tons of cassettes. I've been doing some form of quote unquote broadcasting, if you want to call it that, since I was a kid, literally since I was a kid. And so I found one, and I think I figured out I was probably 7 years old when I made this tape. And I'm going to play a little clip. I'm going to put it in here. And it is of me talking about how I hate people that smoke. That's the premise of this. I hate people that smoke. And then it's kind of fun to listen to, because as you listen, you will hear this 7-year-old figure out that, one, it's not okay to hate people that smoke. And then, anyway, let's play it. And it's just fun to hear how a 7-year-old mind changes as he speaks.
I just like to say that I hate people. I don't like people that smoke, and I don't like people that drink. But I do love my grandma, and grandpa, and grandma, and grandpa. And I know that they love me. And my grandpa used to smoke. My other grandpa used to smoke and drink. My mom used to smoke, but I still love her. And my dad used to smoke, but not very long, but I still love him.
So I'll stop there. Anyway, I go on, and you can hear as I ramble on for a bit longer, like I'm doing now, but I finally come to the conclusion, like, I don't hate people that smoke. I don't hate people that drink. I just don't like smoking and drinking, and that's it. But it was just funny to hear a young kid kind of come to a realization that it's not okay to hate people that do things, and it's okay, obviously, to not like certain actions, but to still love the people. Anyway, it was interesting that at that age, I was kind of coming to that conclusion, because I think we live in a time now where people think that if you don't agree with someone, whether it's something as simple as smoking or drinking or any other political or social issue, that we have to hate one another, or it means if we don't agree that we hate one another. And I just thought, hey, how profound it is to listen to myself at age 7 coming to a realization that, no, you don't have to hate people if they don't do what you like. You just don't have to agree or like, and it's not personal. It's just, choice. And we have to respect one another's choices, even if we don't agree, and we don't need to hate one another. So thank you, 7-year-old Todd, for that lesson. So that's my little soapbox message for today. And I hope we can all, again, the purpose of this podcast is to try to bring people together and to just, again, come to a place where you don't have to worry about agreeing or disagreeing on subjects or whatever. It's a place to escape and to just be positive. And again, this year, that's been my mantra, starting in January, as we talked last time on resolutions, to be positive and think positive about each other. One thing my wife and I try to talk about when we have a kind of a disagreement is, what's our motivation here? What with this disagreement? Are we trying to hurt one another, or trying to hurt each other's feelings, or trying to offend each other? And we're like, well, of course not. We're not trying to do that. And so that's how I think we should approach life in general. Is most people aren't trying to hurt your feelings. Most people aren't trying to offend. Most people, they're trying to do the best they can. And sometimes those choices are going to hurt feelings and cause miscommunication. But generally speaking, I think people are good. People are kind, and just we're not always the best communicators, as you can tell from me talking on here. I'm not the best communicator, but I'm doing the best I can. So thanks for listening. Today's episode of the Dwig America podcast. As always, I can be reached at dwigamerica@gmail.com. If you have any comments, complaints, suggestions, or if you think, hey, I should be on the Dwig America podcast, I think I would make an interesting guest. That's my goal, is to move on to have guests and to be more interactive, so it's not just me spouting off my thoughts for the week. Then talk to people that are successful or just whatever. I just talk to people with different points of view and different areas of life. So I can be reached on Twitter, Facebook at Dwig America, on Twitter, and the Dwig America podcast on Facebook. So thanks for listening. Until next time, so long, everybody.